Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to continue solving linear equations on IXL, but in this one, we are going to have a variable on the left side and the same variable on the right side with a different constant in front of it. So, the assignment we are working on is J6, solve equations with variables on both sides. Here's our first example. Let's zoom in a little. Okay. So, when you have an equation with multiple terms on either one of the sides, the first thing that you want to do is to see if they are like terms. For example, I have two terms on the left. I want to see if these are like terms. If so, I'm going to combine them. So, 9 is a number. It's a constant. 3b is a variable. They are not like terms. They're not the same kind. So, ignore that. We cannot combine them. Next thing that you want to look at is to see if you have like terms on different sides, one on the left, another one on the right. So there's only one thing on the right side, which is a variable, and its like terms up here. I want to put them together. So the variables should be on one side, the numbers should be on the other side. These are my two variables right here, and then there is a number in there. Since the number is already on the left, I want to put the variables to the right, okay? Which means I need to get rid of this right here by doing its opposite, okay? Because again, there's already a number on the left. I want to put the variables on the right side. One of the variables is already on the right side. Now I want to get rid of this and then put it over here. So let's rewrite the equation first. 9. I wanted to make it look like this 9 over here. I'm going to go with my standard 9 plus 3b equals negative 6b. So if I want to cross this 3b out, I need to do its opposite. Its inverse operation, the inverse operation of addition, because the sign is in front of it, the sign in front of this 3b is plus. So minus 3b. Drop down the left. I have 9 only. Drop down the equal. Combine these two. Negative 6 minus 3. If you can see that it is going to be 12, then that means you're on the right track. That's not 12. So it's negative 9. So that's how many b's we are going to have. Negative 9b. Now remember what we were supposed to do. We were supposed to get the b by itself. That's my variable. So right here it is multiplied. That means I need to divide each side by this number. I'm not going to divide each side by 9. That's a big difference. If you do it this way, it will be wrong, because the number is negative 9, not positive. So I need to divide each side by negative 9 to get the b by itself. So b is going to be by itself on the right side. Divide these two numbers. 9 over negative 9 is negative 1. So the answer to this would be negative 1. Next question. You have the like terms over here and over here. Now, let me show you how many of you will solve these questions if you don't watch the videos. It'll be right, but it'll take more time. 2 more steps. Many of you are used to combining the variables on the left side, which is why you're going to start doing this. Minus 3 plus 3f to cancel that one out, and then plus 3f. And then when you combine these two, negative 2 plus 3 equals 1. So you're going to have 1f. 1f means just this. Plus 3. And then, this part is important because many of you are going to mess up the equation at this point. Some of you are not even going to have f plus 3. Some of you are going to have, instead of this, some of you are going to put f and 3, and then you're going to look at that equation think about what to do. You won't be able to figure it out, and then you're gonna put like this. That's gonna be wrong. Okay? You cannot do this just because you don't know what to do. I really hope that it makes sense. But this is wrong. So now what are we doing at this point then? It's not that it is wrong to add plus 3f to each side. It's just going to take more time. That's one thing. But only if you can solve the rest of the question correct. If you mess it up at this point, then it's going to lead you to the wrong answer every single time. So if you're not trying to put the variables to the left side every single time, you're just trying to isolate it using the shortest way possible. So let's complete the rest of this equation, and I'll show you another mistake that many of the students do at this point. And then they do this. Bring down the equal, and then they just look at the equation, and they don't know what to do. Again, they put f equals 3 for their answer, which is going to be wrong if I put 3 in there. What I have on the right side matters. I don't have anything else. I don't have anything on the right side, but I need to express it with numbers. What does nothing mean in math? That's 0. Nothing means 0. I've never seen any student who got to this step and solved the question wrong. But some of you may not know what to do at this point because it's confusing. It's not any other number. It's not like 5, 10, where you can just combine the numbers. It's a 0 now. What are you going to do? So the like terms at this point are this right here and that one there. You need to put them together. But how are you putting them together? Are you going to add 0? Are you going to subtract 0? Are you going to add 3 or subtract 3? How do you combine those two numbers? That's another struggle. So if you subtract 3 to get the f by itself, remember that's what we are trying to get by itself. If I'm trying to isolate this variable, I need to get rid of that plus 3 by doing its opposite, which is minus 3. And then on the left, I have only f, drop down the equal, and now this, 0 minus 3. That's negative 3, which is a whole other answer than 3. It matters. Don't tell me that, Mr. Abdullah, are you serious? Just a negative. It's not just a negative. It is just a negative, but it means a lot. It may not mean anything to you, but it means a lot. It's like here's the difference between them. You have $3, you owe $3. That's the difference between them. And let's just put just one unimportant number to the end of this. You have $30, you owe $30. And you can go on forever like this. So the negatives mean a lot. They do mean a lot. Okay, now this is how you find the answer by doing a method that I don't do at all. This is many of my students though, because they like putting the variables to the left, which I understand. Okay, let's just redo this and show you how you can complete this question with less step. Negative 2f plus 3 equals negative 3f. So what I do is there's only one number right here. The others are variables and they are like terms, like this guy over here and that guy over here. When you have one of either kind, keep it there. Combine the others together. So if you have only one number, don't touch that number. Combine the variables. If you have one variable only, do not touch that variable. Combine all other numbers. That's how it works in equations, if you want to do this shortest way possible. So if I'm going to combine these two guys over here, by not touching the red one, I need to get rid of this negative 2f. This is what I need to get rid of so that this guy here stays put. So how do you get rid of negative 2f? By doing its opposite, of course. Positive 2f. To each side, not just to one side. And make sure everything aligns well. You put the like terms underneath one another. So drop down that 3 over here. It is positive. So positive 3 is on the left. Drop down the equal. And then combine these two. Negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1 f. You do not need to put that 1. You can just keep it as negative f. It is the same thing. Negative f and negative 1f is the same. So now at this point, here is another common mistake. Many students, okay, can you please pause the video and think about what to do at this step? So if you do that, and then if you think that you need to divide each side by 3, it's wrong. This is one of the most common mistakes in solving equations. When you want to get a variable by itself, you do not divide each side by the bigger number. Just because you don't want to divide each side by 1, it doesn't mean that it is wrong. Just because you don't want to divide each side by negative 1, it doesn't mean that it is wrong. This is not about how we feel about the numbers. This is not about how we feel about dividing. This is about the facts we have. If we want to get the variable by itself, we want to focus on the number in front of that variable. So my variable is f. I want to get it by itself. The extra thing that I need to get rid of is negative 1. That's what I need to divide each side by. So I need to divide this by negative 1 and that by negative 1. And then f would be equal to negative 3. Go with either way. I don't care which way you use, but please make sure that you do not make mistakes, those silly mistakes in these steps. So let's skip one level and see what we have up here. Okay, we have two variables. They're separated, one on the left, one on the right, and then one number on the left, one number on the right. So what I want to do is I want to keep my variables positive. Okay? So there's not just one way to solve this question, but I don't want to show you both of the ways because they take too much time. I don't want to bore you more than I have already done. Okay, right here, first I focus on the variables and put them together. Okay? And I make sure that the variables are positive because I don't want to divide each side by negative numbers. They make me nervous a little. So the variables are over here. One is 8f, the other one is 1f. Which one is bigger? 8f is bigger, so do not touch that. Keep that the same. If it is positive, of course. Positive 8f is bigger than positive 1f. So I do not want to mess with this big guy over here. I'm going to mess with this little guy over here. Get rid of that. Put it on the other side. So that's positive 1f. I want to do minus 1f. Minus 1f. You can also put negative 1f. You can put that 1 in there if you want to. It doesn't make any difference. On the left, I have positive 7 equals 8 minus 1 is 7f. And then drop down that negative 7 in here. Do not let the equation confuse you. Think about your like terms. How many variables you have? I have only one, which is on the right side, right? That's 7f is my variable. And I have two numbers. One of them is on the left, which is 7. The other one is on the right, which is negative 7. So these guys over here, that one here and this one here, are the numbers. I already have the variable on the right side, 7f. Remember? That should be by itself. Do not touch that. Play with these guys, these right here. So I want to put the numbers to the left side, which means I want to cancel this guy over here out by doing its opposite to each side. Now on the left, I have 7 plus 7 equals to 14. Drop down the equal and 7f. I'm trying to get the variable by itself. My variable is 7f. I want to get rid of that 7 times. I need to do the opposite of 7 times, which means divided by 7. So f is on the right side. 14 over 7 equals to 2. This takes time. It takes practice. If you're going to sit there and then watch this, you're never going to be able to solve these questions until you come back to school and then your teacher is on you and have you solve these equations step by step. And if you pass Algebra 1 without knowing the equations, no geometry teacher is going to have you sit down here solve these questions. And I'm telling you that in geometry, equations are the first step of almost all of the questions. So bad news, if you can't learn how to solve the equations in here, in Algebra 1, when you have all the time at home, it's going to be real hard for you to pass geometry next year, because all of the angle questions, all of the side questions are going to involve equations. And you're going to be in the classroom setting. You're not going to be able to get on a separate website where you can just type your equation and get the answer. And if you fail that geometry class, it's not going to get any easier when you retake it. Because unlike Algebra 1, geometry is harder. It's harder to remember. It is more work to do. And right now is the best time for you to learn how to do the equations. So please take the time, all the time that you need to learn how to solve these equations. It may be complicated at first. You may think that you will never be able to solve these equations at all because of the small mistakes that you're going to make, like dividing by a negative or positive number. What number I'm supposed to divide this by? If you're going to have all those questions, I'm telling you that it is totally fine. But you need to embrace it, take your time, and try to make it perfect. And the only way is practice. There's no other way. I don't have a magic wand that I can just touch you and then make you learn this without the struggle. You're going to struggle a lot. You're going to hate this. But eventually you're going to learn it because you're going to use this in geometry. I was going to say something else. In geometry and Algebra 2. There's no way that you don't know how to solve an equation and pass geometry and Algebra 2. And if you take color generous math, that's going to be a whole other story. So please make sure that you know how to solve the equations. It's the very basic of Algebra 1. Okay. Next step. Oh, wait. Did I solve that question? Let me see. Oh, yeah, I just solved that question. Okay. So now we have more like terms. Good news. When you have multiple terms, first see if you have any like terms on the left side. On the left, I have this guy over here and that guy. F, which is 1F. If it helps, let me just put it in there. 1F, and then minus 5F. 1 minus 5 is negative 4. That's what you need to do using a calculator or not, but that's what you need to do. 1 minus 5 is negative 4. And then the variable is F. Drop down that 1. Plus 1 is on the left. Equal, we have 10. And then we have minus 7F. I kind of color coded it right now so that you can see what the like terms are. We have these two guys over here and then the red ones over there. Again, I want to deal with the variables first so that I have positive variables, because in my last step, I don't want to divide each side by a negative. Because whatever number you have in front of the variable, you're going to divide your equation by that number in the end. So, negative 4, negative 7. Let's just do trial and error. I don't need to, but I just want to show you how to see how to end up with a positive variable. If you do this to cancel that out, these are going to be gone right here, and then that's going to give you negative 3F. I don't want to have negative 3F because eventually I'll need to divide each side by negative 3. I don't want to do that. I am better off if I divide each side by a positive number. If you don't mind it, I don't care. Just go ahead and then do what I just did. If you don't mind dividing each side by negative, but I don't, it's personal preference. Just I don't like dividing each side by negative numbers if possible. So that's why I'm not going to add 4F. I'm going to add 7F so that I can cancel this one out. And on the left, I will have positive 3F, unlike the negative 3F on the other side. And let's drop down this positive 1, that equal, and then this positive 10. Now I don't have any option. There's only one thing to do. Since the variable, the green term is on the left, my red ones should be on the right side. Which means I need to subtract this so that there's no red on the left. 3f is on the left side, 9 is on the right side. Again, you don't want to divide each side by 9 because we want to get rid of the number in front of f, which is 3. So divide everything by 3 and get f equals 3. Next level, like terms, 11f minus 15. 11 minus 15 is negative 4. It's just a coincidence that we keep getting negative 4, I guess. And then drop down that positive 18 on the left. Drop down your equal. Drop down that 1 and then minus 3f. Again, I put the numbers in blue and the variables in red. I want to deal with my variables first. I want to end up with a positive variable. So I want to add 4f. Adding 4 is better than adding 3. Now I have positive 1f on the right side. Positive f. Drop down this 18. It's positive. Drop down the equal. And then 1. Now I need to combine the blue ones. One is on the left, the other one is on the right. So I need to get rid of that positive 1 by doing its opposite. 18 minus 1 is 17 equals f. So f equals 17. Here's the last one. Okay, find the variables on the same side. 5.6 minus 13.9f. So when you combine these two, you have 8.3 f, but since the bigger number is negative, the answer is going to be negative. Or you can just grab a calculator and then put them in. 5.6 minus 13.9, that's going to be your answer. I hope I didn't make a mistake when I subtracted them. So I'm putting the variables in blue, so let's just put the number on the left in red, plus 19.64. I'll drop down the equal, and then the numbers are in red, negative 13.99. What kind of numbers are these? And then minus 10.2 f. So again, I want to deal with the variables first. I'll either add this number to each side or add that one to each side. I want to add a bigger number. Instead of 8.3, I want to add 10.2. Because then I will end up with a positive number. These are gone. Left side, the variables are going to be 1.9f, positive. And then drop down the number on the left. Drop down the equal. And the right side. I really hope that I didn't mess up with the numbers. So, the next step is putting the red ones together. This is added, so I need to subtract it from both sides. Holy. Now, that's the left side, 1.9f. And then let's combine these two. Negative. Okay. Okay. And that's that, I guess. Let me redo this. Okay. That looks right. Now, I don't want to divide those two numbers. Let's just use a calculator. 33.63 divided by 1.9. The first number was negative. So the answer is negative 17.7. Negative 17.7. Let's just double check the work. 10.2 minus 8.3, that's 1.9. That was right. Okay. And then let's check that number out as well. 13.99, negative 13.99, minus 19.64. Okay, I did them all right. Yeah. Okay. So this one was the last question. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in another video. And let me know if you have any questions on this topic, because again, this is the most critical topic and concept in Algebra 1. You literally need to know how to solve an equation without any guidance, except for a calculator, like a basic calculator. Again, thanks for watching, and I will see you in another video, guys.